All right, this is Mr. Warwick, and I'm going to try to go over some of this review here with you. I do have a paper copy because I figured it'd be easier for you to see kind of what I was doing with work. So the first one says find the measure of AZR. That is this angle right here, okay? Because this is an isosceles trapezoid, I know this is 35. I know this is 20. Okay, that gives me a little bit of insight into what's going on. But really the biggest part is I want to find this angle right here. I can see that this is a triangle. And I know that triangles add up to 180. And I have a 35 and 35, so that makes 70. 180 minus 70 is going to give me 110 for this angle right here. Well, if I have two angles next to each other that are on a straight line, they have to add up to 180. Well, I know 180 minus 70 is 110. So 180 minus 110 is going to mean this angle right here is 70. Okay, the next question is using the same trapezoid, so I can fill in this at 35, this is 20, this is 70 and 70, this is 110. And it's asking me for TRP, which is this angle right here. Knowing that, if this is 110, then this one here is 110. And because this is an isosceles trapezoid, both of these angles up here at the top are going to be the same. Well, I don't really have to concern myself with this part or doing the math with the rest of that. This is 100, and if these two are going to be the same, that's 180 minus 110, which is 70, as we talked about in the last problem. And I'm going to divide that by 2 because I have to split it between these two. So this is 35 degrees on that one. Question number 3. If this angle here is 45 and this angle is 43, then this is isosceles. False. It is not. They have to be the same for it to be isosceles. On this one, we're going to find this mid segment here. So all we are doing is taking the top, adding the bottom to it, and dividing by 2. If I find the average of this top and bottom, it should give me the middle. 12 plus 34 is going to give me 48, 46. 46, and when I divide that by 2, I get 23. For question 5, it's the same kind of thing. I need the top and the bottom to add together and divide by 2 to give me 24. So I can set it up that way, but they tell me that this is 38. So really it's just how far did I go to here? And then I need to go the same distance here. 38 to 24 is minus 14. So 24 minus 14 is going to give me 10. If you're not sure if that works, 38 plus 10 divided by 2, that's going to be 48 divided by 2, which is 24, which is exactly the middle over here. On this one, if A is 6 and B is 10, then X is and Y is. Well, if it goes from the congruent angle on the kite to the other congruent angle on the kite, that means that this is the diagonal that does get bisected. So if A is 6, X is also 6. As far as the Y value, I have, if I isolate it, just a right triangle. This side is 6. This is my A side that I'm missing. And then this side is 10. So it's 6 squared plus A squared is equal to 10 squared. That's 36 plus A squared is equal to 100, which means A squared is equal to 64. I take the square root, and the square root of 64 is 8. On question number 7, if A is 115, that means this one down here is also 115. So I have two angles. If I have a quadrilateral, that's 4 sides, they're all going to add up to 360. So I'm going to take my 360 and subtract what I have. This is 115, this is 115, so that's 230 that I get to subtract. So I have 130, and that's going to be equal to what I have between these two angles. So 2y plus 1 plus another y. I've got some like terms. So 130 is equal to 3y plus 1. I subtract 1 from both sides. That's 129 is equal to 3y. When I divide by 3, I just kind of do this piece by piece in my mind. 3 goes into 12 4 times. That's my tens column. 3 goes into 9 3 times. This is y is equal to 43. Okay. Question 8. You have to keep in mind that this means that 84 degrees is the measure for everything here at E, okay? If this is 41, I have parallel lines here, and this is going to be alternate interior angles. This is 41. So 84 minus 41 is going to give me 43 for this angle here. And then if this is 95, I'm going to have 95 for this angle where the S is. Well, all that leaves me is this angle for this triangle, and that just happens to be EWS, the one I'm looking for. So I'm going to take 95 and add 43. 5 plus 3 is 8. 9 plus 4 is 13. So I take 180 and I subtract 138. 10 minus 8 is 2. 7 minus 3 is 4. That angle is 42. There's a few different ways that you can get that if you really kind of know what you're looking for, but it's not like something you have to work super hard for if you know about adding the angles together. Okay. This is a parallelogram. Tells us it's a parallelogram. That means the opposite sides, excuse me, sorry, and the opposite angles are going to be congruent. So this is 125 is equal to what it tells me for A, which is 25H. I divide by 25. I'm going to get H is 5. On the next one, it's asking me for J. Well, 180 minus 125 is going to give me 55. So I have 11J is equal to 55, which means when I divide by 11, J is equal to 5 as well. Then the last one is K. This is also a 55 degree angle, so it's K plus 2 is equal to 55. I subtract 2 from both sides, and I get K is equal to 53. Okay. Question 10 gives me this kite, and this one's kind of fun. This is a 3 here on this diagonal and a 3 here on this diagonal, and this side is 5. When it asks me for the perimeter, this is 3 and this is 3, so this side here is 3 square root of 2, because that's one of our special right triangles. Okay, it's a 45, 45, 90. The two sides are the same. The hypotenuse comes up 3 square root of 2. Or if you're doing Pythagorean theorem, the square root of 18, that's fine. Okay, that means, because this is a kite, that this is also 3 square root of 2. And if this is 5, then this is 5. What I did was just say 5 plus 5 is 10. And then 3 square root of 2 and 3 square root of 2 makes 6 square root of 2. So we are going to have to round to a decimal place. And I think this one comes up, gosh, I want to say 18.5 or something like that. You might check that, but this is what you would type into the calculator, not necessarily what you type into Schoology, but if you type this in the calculator, it's going to give you whatever it is, okay? The area when you're doing these, remember, it's diagonal 1 times diagonal 2, and then we divide that by 2. This is 3, so this is 3. So one diagonal is 6. This is 3, and then this one we're not given, but this is a right triangle. And I happen to know that this is one of our Pythagorean triples. If the hypotenuse is 5 and one side is 3, the other side's going to come up to 4. So I have 3 and 4. My other diagonal is 7. 6 times 7 is 42. Divided by 2 is 21. So my area there is 21. On this one, perimeter and area again. A is 15. So these sides are all going to be 15 because it's a rhombus. So 15 times 4 is just going to give me 60. The perimeter is 60. But then the area, remember, it's diagonal 1 times diagonal 2, and then I divide that by 2. I don't necessarily have my diagonals. I have that this one's 12, so this is also 12. So I've got a kind of isolated right triangle. This is 12, this is 15, and this one's the one that I'm trying to find. This is a 3, 4, 5 right triangle. It's just everything's been multiplied by 3. 5 times 3 is 15. 4 times 3 is 12. So 3 times 3 is 9. You can work Pythagorean theorem you should still end up with 9 on this one. It'd be 225 minus 144, and then whatever you get, you take the square root. Okay, it should be you get 81, and the square root of 81 is 9. All right, so that means this is 9, this is 9. I'm going to take 18 and multiply that by 24, and then divide that by 2. Now, the way I would do this in my head, if I'm working this, is go ahead and take the 18 and divide it by 2. So I'm just taking 24 times 9. 9 times 4 is 36. 18, 19, 20, 21. This should be 216 for the area. And then the last one, and it's nice and simple. The opposite angles are going to be congruent. Consecutive angles have to add together to make 180. If A is 71, X is also 71. So 180 minus 71 is going to be 109. So the Y angle is 109. Hopefully this gets you prepared, gets you where you need to be, and good luck on the test.